Hey, in this video, I'm going to review the Samsung Gear Sport. Now, I recently just got this watch and I've been a longtime user of Samsung watches. I have the um, Gear S3 Frontier right here. It's been my daily driver for almost a year now. I have a review to that. I'll link that in the description. I've also had the Gear S2 and had some Samsung Gear Live, had the original Gear and the Gear 2 Neo. So definitely know a little bit about these particular devices. Took the watch off my wrist so I can just do a much easier walk through here and kind of show you the different features. Now I can tell you the first thing I noticed when I'm coming from the Gear Frontier is this is definitely considerably smaller, and I'll do a size comparison and some other comparisons in a little bit. I've turned the screen off and I've been using it, like I said, for probably about a week now, and I do find the battery lasts me probably about 2.5 days. I settled on this screen. It looks a little blue here, but in reality it's black and gray. So not sure why on the camera it's looking a little bit blue here. But anyway, I set this up with my battery percentage and such. So if you have a Gear S2 or 3, you're definitely going to find that this is very similar. You got the same rotating bezel. You have the same home button, the same way of accessing your Samsung Pay by pressing and holding the top button. So that's there as well. You also have your home button, your menu button, where you can scroll through the different apps as well. So I'm just going to move that here for a little bit better light. And as I can show you here, you can rotate through the bezel for your apps, as well as I like to just press this little dot here and move through each of the app windows. So with that, like I mentioned, I think one of the bigger things that I noticed was the size of the device. And at first, I was taken aback when I was coming from the S3 Frontier. Now, I had the S2 a while ago, and I think, and I'd have to actually go back and take a look at that device, but I think this is pretty close to the size of that. It's definitely a little more squared off as opposed to fully rounded like the S2 is. Features that it has, like I say, the screens are customizable. You can put in whatever you like. I can tell you both the S3 as well as this device is not very good on stairs, telling you how many stairs you've climbed. So it's told me I've climbed three stairs, 3 floors today. I can tell you in my home I have 2 sets of stairs, and I go up and down at least 4 or 5 times a day, and it never really registers that. And you can see online that other people are saying the same thing. It's not very good at floors. Not really sure why that is. So that's not the best. It'll give you your steps and such. You can add different widgets as well, organize them in the order that you want them to be. So that's always nice too. I don't see that much different with respect to this device from the S3, other than the size of the screen being a little bit smaller. And after about a week or so, I'm used to that. It's not a big deal that it's smaller. I'm not sure whether I like the bigger screen better. I'm tending to lean that way, but I don't know. I could probably live with this guy. I did test it also swimming, so that's one of the features that this guy has that the other one doesn't. Now, plenty of people say you can wear it in the water, and like I said here, you could put it in the swimming mode, hit start swimming, and it's just gonna lock off the buttons. From when I tested, I've only tested it swimming once, but I can tell you it seemed a little interesting with respect to how far you've gone, and whether it accurately gives you your number of lengths of a pool you've go or not. I don't know if I can say that it was perfect. I didn't need to test that a little bit more. It locks the button, so you'd have to press and hold the button for a couple seconds to unlock water mode, and it's saying shake it to clean it off. I didn't actually do anything, so be that as it may. So I would say that's the exercise that it doesn't necessarily do that the other ones, or that the exercise that it does that the S2 or S3 doesn't do. But I can't imagine that you couldn't use those for swimming. It just wouldn't track it the same way. So the drawback, I think, and take this as whether it's important to you or not, but the drawback in my mind here is that this watch here does not have a speaker on it. So I can get a notification that a phone call's coming in, and I could also turn this to answer it, but then I can't actually have a conversation on the watch. I'd have to go back to my phone. Other than that, it has the heart rate sensor, and I haven't felt like anything else has really been of issue other than not being able to have a phone call on here. So if you don't care about that, then maybe it doesn't matter. Is this an upgrade over the S3? I would say definitely not. It's something different. If you're going from an S2, you'd go to this. If you're an avid swimmer, then you'd probably want this. If you want something smaller, this is definitely the size to go. And the band is a little bit different. And I'll just bring over the S3 real quick to just kind of show you the differences in sizes. And so there you go. There's the S3 Frontier next to the Gear Sport. So the other thing that I would note is that the kind of chronograph, or whatever you want to call it, the little numbers on each of the particular time frames right there. So sorry, I'm not getting a good focus there, but says 5, 10, 15, 20 all the way around. So that you don't have on this guy. And then the little ridges on the edges are much more pronounced here, and the ridges on the edges are much more subtle on this guy. And obviously the band is narrower as well. So, those are some of the differences. Like I say, I like this. If I did not already have the S3, then I would say by far no issues with this at all. I have to decide as far as, which one I'm keeping based on whether or not I could live without the speaker, because I do like to, every once in a while, if my phone's the other side of the room, or have to reach somewhere to get it, or don't even feel like reaching into my pocket, I like having this guy, being able to just have a conversation on it. And people have told me they can hear me perfectly fine. This is a carrier model, but I actually don't have it hooked up to a carrier. I just have it as Bluetooth only. So from that perspective, I've treated them the same. So there's my review of the Gear Sport, and I'm going to continue to wear it for a little bit longer. Any questions you have, definitely comment below. Would love to hear your thoughts. Do you have either one of these watches? Have you considered it? I would not say that if you have the S3 to upgrade to this, because I don't think it's an upgrade. I think they're complementary and just do different things a little bit, but more or less the same. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Definitely, if you like this, if you learned something, give it a thumbs up below. I'd greatly appreciate that. And consider subscribing to my channel. I love your comments below as well. Do you have one of these? Which one? What do you like about it? Would you consider the other one? Do you have an S2 or a watch before that? Would you consider either one of these watches? Are you maybe waiting for the S4 to come out? So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.